name is Mairead and I'm a celebrant with Entheos. Welcome to my podcast, Being Brilliant. The purpose of the podcast is to inform, to uplift and to inspire. And today I'm delighted to be joined by Niki, owner of Dreamy Curves Bridal Boutique based in Bray, County Wicklow. Niki, it's great to see you again today. I met you at your boutique at the behest of my lovely colleague Katrina, who is also a celebrant with Entheos based in Bray. And she said, you have to go along and see Niki in her bridal boutique. So I went along and you know what, I didn't want to leave. From the moment I got there, I had such a warm welcome, a nice big hug from you and Sarah when I got there. And I walk in and there I am, plush carpet and wall-to-wall bridal gowns, beautiful fabrics, all the different colours, the styles, the cut, the accessories, the sparkle, everything. I sat down on the soft leather sofa. Then I, had a turn on the little platform podium in front of this huge, ginormous mirror where all the brides try on their dresses. I was just literally oohing and eyeing. I didn't want to leave. It was fantastic. But can you tell me, before you were a bridal boutique owner, because you opened that in 2018, what were you doing before Dreamy Curves? Life before Dreamy Curves. Tell me about.
Oh my God. Well, thanks first of all for having me, Mairead. It's such an honour to be here today. And I'm delighted you came in to see us and that you liked the environment and the vibe that we've created in the shop. Oh my God, life before Dreamy Curves. It feels like an age ago. And yeah, it's only 6 years. I was in the corporate world all of my working life. So I'm an accountant. And I worked in big companies like Coke and Diageo and did a bit of finance and then moved on to other things. And then I got the opportunity to take redundancy and I was like, okay, it feels like the right time. I had just turned 50. No, actually, I was just about to turn 50. I'd had some changes in my life and I just felt like if it was ever going to be, that was the time to do something different. But I was very lucky and got some life coaching as part of my redundancy package. And within the first session, my coach had figured out that actually I had a secret hankering for owning my own business. I never knew that. I would have definitely considered myself to be a very risk-averse, job for life, pension, all that sort of person. But he was like, no, there's this secret you inside that's what you need to go and do. So go figure what you want to do. So I did business plans for many different things, from dog walking to cafes and I just couldn't crack it. I was like, I didn't know what actually felt right. And then I was sat on the sofa watching Say Yes to the Dress for Curvy Ladies one evening. And I was like, oh my God, that feels like a fit. And I wonder if there is a market here in Ireland for that. As you can hear, I'm not Irish, I'm Danish, but I lived in the UK for quite a few years. And when I got married and I lived in the UK at the time, it was so difficult. I'm a curvy lady and it was so difficult to find anywhere where you could try on dresses. So it was not a good experience. And I was like, I wonder, that's 20 odd years ago. Surely things must have changed. But when I went and had a look around to see what was the environment out there, I realised actually nothing had changed. There was really only one other curvy bridal boutique on the whole of the island of Ireland. And yet 50% of the population is above size 16. So that felt like there could be a gap. And so I took the plunge. Took me about a year to from concept, well, less than a year, 9 months from concept to opening the doors in Dreamy Curves to set up the business. And I've
very
never
brave.
looked back.
Very brave thing to do.
Brave or stupid, I don't know. It felt very scary. Like, as somebody, you've recently started your own business too. Like, it is kind of scary to walk away from the steady wages and everything else. And bridal is a very kind of, cost intensive industry, but it just felt like it was the time, and it felt like it was something that if I didn't do it, I would never do it, and I'd always have regrets. Mm-hmm. So I've never looked back. I absolutely love it. Like, I don't know if I would have been, like, it was the right time for me. Like, I have never regretted for 1 minute doing what I did, and I love the business.
So any advice for anybody out there thinking about doing something, leaving the safe cushion of a permanent salary, and maybe people are telling them it's too risky, and maybe they're telling themselves it's too risky?
I know. Do you know, I've had many brides in the changing room saying, you know, oh my God, that story is so interesting. I would love to do X, Y, Z. And what I always say to them is just never die with any regrets. You know, maybe now's not the right time, but that doesn't mean sometime in the future won't be the right time, because, like, we're not made to just stand still for all of our life. You know, if this had occurred to me when I was 30, maybe that would have been the wrong time. So I would say to anybody who has the urge to do it, just do all your research, figure out if it's something you could do. Can you make money off it? And if you can, you know, and if the timing's just not right, don't give up on your dreams. It could always happen later in life.
Yeah. So have you been in Bray Main Street since you opened in 2018? Yeah.
I decided when I live in Newtown at Kennedy, and when I decided, a really important thing for me was that I used to spend three hours a day commuting in and out of Dublin, and a really important thing for me was to be somewhere closer to home. So I'd set myself a radius, with Bray being the furthest north and Wicklow Town being the furthest south, and that was kind of my radius. And I just found the right premises in the main street. I'm upstairs from the EBS Bank, so we don't have a shop window as such, but it's a destination shop, so I'm not relying on people walking down the road and seeing the dresses in the window. They come to us because they're coming to us. So it's a perfect location, and it's a lovely, lovely premises that we have there.
And so how big is your team that you have working with you?
So at the moment, there's just me and Sarah. So we're both full-time, so we're nearly always there. I do Sundays and Mondays myself, but there's two of us at the moment.
So you work Sunday, so you're open, what are your opening hours?
7 days
7 days a week, right. Yeah.
Now, we do work by appointments. So on a Sunday and a Monday, if we don't have an appointment booking, we won't actually be there. But for the other days of the week, we're open between 10 and 5.
Yeah.
And on a Saturday between 9 and 5:30. So, but, you know, if there was a day where it was a quiet day and we'd done everything, we might skip off early. So if people tried to ring us at 4:30 and you didn't get us, we'll get to you the next day.
Yeah, you're definitely contactable, that's for sure.
Oh, always.
Yeah.
Social media is on 24/7.
Absolutely. Now, you don't just do bridal gowns, you also do evening
we do evening gowns and depths, and obviously all of the bridal accessories that you could want, but we focus on Curvy Bride and Curvy depths, so from size 16 upwards.
Now when you say 16 upwards, does that mean that is there a difference between the bridal gown size 16 and high street 16?
That is an excellent question. Yes, there is. So if you are a size 12 in your high street size, you'd probably be about a 16 in bridal. So there's about 2 sizes in the difference. And I know that's a very strange thing. It must have been a man who thought up that idea. I mean, what woman in the right way would ever think that would be a good idea
for
to
the
add
bridal
2
gown?
sizes? Yeah, exactly. But that's how it is. So yeah, really we can cater for like a high street 12 to 14.
So for a bride to be arriving for her appointment at Dreamy Curves in Bray, what does she need to consider even before she arrives?
So we really would love for people to just have a little think about what is it she wants to look like on the day. And lots of people can't actually finalise that until they see themselves in a dress. But figure out what you're drawn to. Take some inspo snapshots of, you know, either our website or other websites. Just these are the things that I'm drawn to. So have a little think about that. Is there something that you really love or you really hate that you want us to avoid? Because when you walk into Dreamy Curves, there's 250 dresses, and we can probably in a 90-minute appointment at the most we can get through like 15 dresses. So we don't want to be spending time trying on wedding dresses that are just not suitable or isn't to the bride's liking. But so the first thing is to really have a good think about that. The second thing is your budget. So really think about how much you're prepared to spend, because if you come in with a 1,500 or $2,000 budget, there could be 20 odd dresses in that margin between 1,500 and 2,000. So if you just be open with us, you know, so we can help you find the right dress. We're never trying to maximise the spend. We're always just focused on finding the right dress for the bride. So those are the two things, the main two things. Have a little think about who to bring with you as well. Like, less is definitely more. Lots of people like to bring the whole bridal party, but that's a lot of voices. If you have like 3 or 4 bridesmaids and your mom and maybe the groom's mom as well and maybe an auntie, like, one, we have a space constraint, so we can't really fit in more than like 4 or 5 people, but 2, you have a lot of opinions and that can be a little bit overwhelming. So I think, have a little think about who are the people who have my best interest at heart, who really, really is my biggest cheerleaders, who just wants to see me look the best that I can on the day and be happy, and who will think about me and not what they perhaps want for themselves, but what they want. So, really important decision to make. And lots of people feel quite awkward in making that decision because there's so much pressure from the bridal party that they want to be part of it. And we get that, So sometimes, if we get an opportunity to talk to a bride ahead of time and she says, I'm a little bit nervous, just come in on your own. Have or with just one person and just go through the first appointment by yourself or with just one person and figure out who you are and what you're like in bridal, because then it becomes a lot less daunting when you have other people in the room.
Yeah. I suppose some people really don't know. They've never tried on a bridal gown and they have certain ideas, maybe all the way back from childhood, about the type of dress. Little do they know that when they try that particular type of dress that maybe was in vogue when they were first thinking about dresses, and they realise, oh God, it doesn't actually suit me at all, or I like it but not in that type of material or that shape, or there's so many, like, even like straps, to have straps, not have straps. People are very particular about certain things, aren't they? And everybody's taste is unique to them.
Exactly. So what's good for one person might not work for another. Mm-hmm. And you're dead right. I mean, oftentimes a bride will come in with a view in her head about what she wants to wear. But actually then she'll try on the dress and she'll go, actually, I don't even like how that feels. Like, I don't like that fabric, or it's too big, it feels a bit heavy, or whatever. So, and that's okay. It's a process. It's very, like, buying a wedding gown is completely a process of trying out all these different things. And then you'll very quickly narrow it down to maybe 1 or 2 preferred styles. And then it's just a case of, so which dress in that style is your dress? So it doesn't, sometimes you do it in one appointment, sometimes it takes 2, sometimes it even takes 3. And that's okay. Like, it needs to take whatever time it needs to take. I think the one thing is that lots of people will kind of go, well, I feel like I need to go to lots of different shops. And we always go, one, you could waste a lot of money doing that, because a lot of shops, including ourselves, will charge a booking deposit and you won't necessarily get that money back. So we always say, just go one shop at a time. Don't pre-book, block book like loads of shops. Just go one appointment at a time. Go in very much with the mindset, I'm going to buy my dress today. I'm going to find my dream dress. And that is half the battle, is to allow yourself to fall in love with that dress.
Yeah.
Don't always kind of go, oh, there's something better down the road. Just go with the emotion of how do you feel in your dream dress.
Do you have at this point now, you must have an idea when by the look on the bride's face when she stands up on that podium and she looks at herself in that huge mirror, and you can kind of tell by her face that she's loving it.
Yeah, it's a magic moment.
Yeah.
We do have a mirror in the changing room as well. And some bridal boutiques don't, but we have one in the mirror and you can see it in her face.
Yeah.
Like, and before she even goes out. Yeah. And it's magic.
Yeah.
Absolutely magic.
Yeah. And I couldn't believe it when you told me there are 200 shades of ivory.
Yeah. Bizarre, isn't it?
I'll tell you, there's so much choice. There really is. But I knew very quickly, it became very apparent what I liked. Funnily enough, there was wall-to-wall dresses, but very quickly, within 10 minutes, I knew what I was drawn to.
Yeah.
So it's amazing, and I didn't expect that would be the case. Yeah. Fake tan or not not to wear fake tan, either to the trying on appointment or on the day.
Well, certainly to your trying on appointment, we request that people don't have fresh tan on. By all means, like, we're not asking people to walk in if they're, like, some people wear tan all year round. but just make sure you've
It's
had
not a freshly applied
a couple
one.
of showers, and then it's fine. It doesn't rub off on the dress. And the same thing goes for your wedding day. Like, just make sure that you have a few days between the application, whether you have a spray tan or what you do, and then on the actual day, and then you should be fine. Like 2 or 3 showers will usually get rid of the worst of it. The areas under the arms are always the thing, because you sweat a bit and it kind of rubs off on the dress. So that's the area just to pay attention to.
Right, okie doke. And that's good advice, because I think we're one of the biggest fake tan wearing populations in the whole world. So yeah. Now, how often would you have to, or how soon before the wedding do you have to actually have the dress booked so that it's back in time for your wedding?
Oh my God, another great question, and something that catches people out quite a lot. So the lead time to have a wedding dress made is actually really long, and it does just depend on, by designer. But we have a really strict cutoff of 8 months. So we prefer people to start looking at about 12 months. Some people are ready much sooner than that. Some people come in 18 months, 2 years in advance. That's fine. But don't start the journey until you're ready to buy, because you could fall in love with the dress and then it's been discontinued by the time you come back again. So kind of go out, usually, like, the advice would be about 12 months before your wedding. The very latest for Dreamy Curves is at 8 months, but one of our designers is 9. So, and within that we have about a 2-month allowance for alterations. So, the dress will arrive within about 6 months from order. Lots of people's, particularly, well, it's probably the same in any bridal shop, but a lot of our customers will come in and go, oh, I'm kind of hoping I might lose a little bit of weight, and what happens if I lose weight between I ordered the dress and my wedding? That's fine. The dress can be taken in. That's really not a reason not to. If you come in 3 or 4 months before your wedding because you've waited that long to have the body that you want for your day, you have a lot less choice. We do sell off the rail, but you'd be lucky that the right size and the right dress and so on is there for you in the shop. We've never seen anybody stock. Like, we always find a dress for people, but if you want to have all the choice in the world, 12 months before is the ideal time.
Yeah.
It's a very long
and I would have been really surprised that it took that long to make a dress until I saw your dresses.
Yeah.
And I saw the level of detail and the quality. I thought, oh, okay, of course. Yeah.
There's a lot in it. Like Studio Lavana, one of our designers, do a little morning video a couple of times of a week, and they show the process of making the dress, and each bead is hand beaded onto a dress, and
wow,
it's just like there's a lot in it. Do you know what I mean? So it takes a long time.
Yeah. And you have amazing accessories. There was lovely, hair pieces and veils, and you had shoes in the wide fit and then low heel, which is great, for tall girls. That, you don't necessarily need a heel if you're wearing a full length dress anyway, and you want to be comfortable all day standing, right? I thought that was, that's something that I can see a lot of people going for.
Absolutely.
But you also have the standard fit shoes, the jewellery, the belts. I thought the belts were lovely.
I know.
Yeah.
And a belt can really transform a dress. Like, it completely changes the look. All the accessories actually really makes the difference. So when we have a bridal appointment, we will, when we kind of narrow it down to the 1 or 2 or 3 final ones, that's when we start playing with the accessories and put the veil on and then piece. And it just completes the look. It's so magic.
So at these bridal appointments, just say you're there, you might have 1 or 2. If it was me now, I probably wouldn't have anybody, because I like to shop on my own no matter what it is I'm going to shop for. But if you have 1 or 2 there, do they get anything to drink while they're there?
They do. So we offer everybody a Prosecco or a mimosa. Lots of people will go for the mimosa because they might be driving, but they're with us for an hour and a half, so a little splash of something is nice, or orange juice or water. Lovely. We don't do hot drinks just because it takes too long.
It's dangerous as well around trying on clothes and stuff.
Yeah.
And they get to sit back on that lovely soft leather sofa and watch the bride coming in.
I know, it's a bit like a little show, isn't it?
It is. It's like something in the movies. It's fantastic. So that brings me to my next question. What do you love? What is the thing you love about your job the most?
Oh my God, you pre-asked me that question. I was like, oh, I could be here for half an hour. So there's so many aspects to having a bridal shop, and lots of it is not glamorous, like steaming dresses and doing the accounts and all that boring stuff. But the two standout things for me, working with the bride is number one. Like, there's nothing more. Like, I feel so privileged when people coming in to us and they really trust you. Like, you very quickly build a rapport with your bride, and they trust you to try and really get to the nitty gritty of what she wants. And pulling out that, of 250 dresses, pulling out the one that's for her. Love that process, absolutely love it. And we have a bit of banter in the changing room, and you really kind of get to know people at a different level when you do the appointment. So I love that. And the magic moments of you've got the right dress, you know. So love that bit. And then the other bit is going to market and actually buying the dresses. That is so exciting. Getting on that plane, going over. We do most of our buying in Harrogate in England. We're going actually in about 4 weeks' time to Harrogate, and you know, imagine walking into this massive big centre with like all these halls of just wedding dresses everywhere. I mean, it's so exciting.
So is that you and Sarah will go over?
Me and Sarah will go.
Oh, can I go too? That sounds amazing.
Of course. And it's like you know, you watch the catwalks and you pick your collections then for your brides for next year, and that's really exciting.
That's great, because you can see somebody wearing it and how they move in it, how it catches the light. Yeah. You can see it properly.
Touch and feel. Yeah. During COVID, we had to buy from pictures, and it was so hard because you can't touch and feel. And oftentimes, like, you'll pick something because it's beautiful, but then when it arrives, it's so heavy. So, like, nobody's going to want to wear that. It's gorgeous, but it's not. So it's very, very important to have the ability to touch and feel, see it on a body, as you say. You can see how it sits on the back and the front, and you know how they can move around in it and stuff like that. So I love that. Love that part of the process.
And the wedding industry is just such a fantastic industry to be part of, isn't it? I mean, I just love from the point of view as a wedding celebrant, I just love the fact that this is a happy, joyous occasion of two people.
I know.
And, you know, life is, let's face it, life is tough. It throws us all sorts of lemons. And we have to work, and we have to do our jobs, and we have to do our housekeeping, and we have all sorts of responsibilities and challenges. But for one day, you get to put all that aside, and you're with your nearest and your dearest, and you know, you are making a public declaration of your love, and it's a celebration. And we don't get too many of those opportunities. So that for me is wonderful. It's really an honour and a privilege to facilitate that for a couple.
Yes.
Yeah. But I also like that I love working with words. So I love crafting the script for the couple. I love when I meet the couple and I hear about how they got together. I'm a real romantic, a bit of a sucker for an old love story, I have to say. And, you know, every couple is different, so that means every ceremony is different.
So do you craft a ceremony from their personal stories?
I do. And like, you know, there might be some couples who would be very shy and you know, reserved and maybe very private. So, you know, they may not want to divulge the whole how they got together. And that's fine too. So it's really whatever the couple want. Yeah. It's their day. And my job is that the ceremony completely reflects them and their values. You know, so you have to be, you know, in tune with who they are as a couple and what they want, and it's great to make it happen for them. And then of course there's the whole thing, you know, you're watching all the guests coming in and all the fashion, and You know, everybody makes such an effort to get dolled up. It's such a joyous occasion.
It is. It really is very special.
Yeah.
So would you meet a couple several times before their ceremony?
So what I will do is, of course, everything can be facilitated online and people are very busy. So if people live, relatively near me, and if they want me to go and visit them and meet them in their house, I'll do that. If not, a lot of people are very happy just to do it, a Zoom call or a video call, and we'll spend it like at least an hour going through everything, getting to know them, how they met, what they envisage for their ceremony. Have they been to any weddings recently? Was there something they saw that they liked? And of course, nowadays, back in the day in Ireland, there wasn't that many choices, but now there's so many choices if you go for a celebrant-led wedding. And I'm part of Entheos, and we respect all faiths or none. So if you want a religious element, I'm very happy to incorporate that in the ceremony. But equally, if you're not religious, that's absolutely fine too. And now we have so many different things. We have hand fasting traditions, we have ring warming, we have the joining of sands together to blend the two families together. There's so many different options, or you don't have to have any of them either. It depends on the couple. They might want something really, really simple. So every wedding now can be completely unique.
So unique to them. Yeah, that's lovely, isn't it?
Yeah, it's great.
I'm hearing more and more. My brides tell me more and more that they're non-religious ceremonies, so they will have celebrants rather than the traditional.
Yeah, and I think as well, a lot of people like to, if you're going for a celebrant-led wedding, then you can have the ceremony in the hotel.
Yeah.
And let's say you have maybe older parents or older grandparents and they're not very mobile. You don't want them getting into the car from the church, then driving them then getting back out of the car and all that. And you've got people coming from all different directions. Yeah. It might just be simply down to the handiness of just having it all under the one roof.
Yeah.
And also we can, fingers crossed, in Ireland we can sometimes have outdoor ceremonies. And a lot of venues now, they will say, look, they'll decide the day before, they'll decide, look, the forecast is XYZ, we can have it outside or not, and they'll have always the plan B option to have it inside as well. So you kind of you have to go with the gods when it comes to that, I think. That's it, absolutely. But Tammy, when you're in business, and in this business in particular of weddings and dealing with brides to be, word of mouth is so important, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, we're very lucky. You asked me before when we met, how do you even get started, and the first year in business is very difficult, because you're kind of there going, how do I get the word out that I'm here? I know these people are out there for me, but I need to get known. And actually the key is word of mouth. If you give every person that comes into your business the very best experience they can possibly have, even if they don't go with you, they'll tell other people. And at the end of the day, people buy from people. People like to deal with nice people. And particularly when it's around your wedding. Like, you want to have people around you, your suppliers, be people that you click with, that you think are nice. So, my mantra from the very beginning has been, I don't care of course I care. Like, I'm in the business of selling wedding dresses. But if she didn't find her beautiful dress in my shop, that's okay, as long as she walks away and says, but it was lovely. Yeah. That's the main thing. And then from that, it'll grow. So I have a massive amount of referrals. We have people coming from, we're based in Bray in County Wicklow, but we have people travelling from all over the country, Northern Ireland included. My bride that was in at the weekend is a UK resident. Now, she's Irish, but she has chosen to buy her dress with Dreamy Curves. She probably would have been handier for her to buy in the UK. So I think, once you build up your reputation, the main thing is that people just always recommend you. We're now 6 years in business, and I'm seeing people who go, oh yeah, my sister was here 3 years ago, and I have a friend, and and it'll just grow and grow from there.
And people really will travel.
Yes.
For a wedding dress.
Absolutely.
This is the most important dress you'll ever buy.
Yeah.
They will travel.
They will.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And it's worth it. It's the experience. I said it's going to be an enjoyable experience. You're an award-winning, I forgot to say that, aren't you? You're an award-winning bridal boutique.
We are.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were very lucky in the first, in 2020, we won Bridal Boutique of the Year. We've been nominated every year since, but we haven't quite managed to win, but we have another awards ceremony coming up now in September. We've been nominated again, and for me, the most important thing is that the awards that we tend to put our kind of selves into, you can buy yourself into awards. I don't believe that that's the way to go, because sure, what does that mean? You've bought the award, So the award that we won, and the one that we have been put forward to every year, is actually brides have put us forward. And
fantastic.
That means everything to me.
Yeah.
So fingers crossed for September, we may have another one.
Fantastic. I'll be looking out for that. So if somebody wants to find you, how do they find you?
So we are on all the social media. So we have a TikTok account, we have Instagram and Facebook. So Dreamy Curves Bridal. If you put that into your search engine, you'll find us. We also have a website, so where you'll find every dress. I think 99% of our dresses are on the website. But you'll see on our social media that what you see on the website are the more formal model pictures. On social media, there's a bit of fun thrown in, and you have the dresses on ourselves, on some beautiful curvy models, and they come in and do a little shoot for us every now and then, so it's fab.
Fantastic. And I believe you're going to be at the RDS Wedding Fair exhibition,
we are
the wedding
at the end
show.
Of August, yes. This will be our third show.
Wow, so it's the 31st of August, Saturday 31st of August, and Sunday the 1st of September.
Yes.
And it's all the suppliers under the one roof.
Yes, it's an amazing occasion, because if you haven't got all of your vendors sorted out, it's a really great day out. You'll see every type of supplier there, lots of different hotels. You get to try some wedding cake. There's a beautiful catwalk. We are on stand E15, which is just next to the catwalk. And we have models on the runway as well, so can't wait for that. We're trying to figure out what to put them in at the minute, so that's exciting.
Fantastic. Well, if anybody is listening and you've recently got engaged and you're planning your wedding and you're looking for the perfect curvy bridal gown, I'd recommend you check out Dreamy Curves Bridal, Main Street, Bray, above EBS.
Yeah.
You can find them on Facebook, Instagram, and also if you want to pop along to the wedding show on the RDS stand E15, and it's very near the
by just beside the catwalk. And we have the big lit up Dreamy Curves sign, so you cannot miss
Fantastic.
it.
Well, listen, guys, it's well worth it. If it's even, when you go for an appointment, just to get one of Niki's hugs, okay, that.
Oh, and Sarah gives as good hugs as I do.
Yeah, and who could say no to Prosecco anyway?
I know.
That's great. Thank you so much for being here,
Thank
Niki.
you for having me.
It was a really, really great chat.
I loved it. Thank you.
Best of luck.
Thank you, and to you.